All righty. Well, welcome everyone to our first live Q&A for 2021. I'm glad that all you guys could join us, and welcome Holly Espray to our live Q&A series. It's great that she's been able to join us. So I've got a few questions here that have been submitted through the registration process, so I'll run through those. And then, so if you think of any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. Or otherwise, what I'll do after we've run through these questions, I'll open it up and you guys can feel free to have a chat with Holly and ask whatever questions that you'd like. So welcome, Holly, to Racetrack's live Q&A.
Thank you. So it's going to be exciting. I've never done one of these before, so.
We're a friendly bunch. Good place to start. So tell us how you got started in motorsport. Like, how old were you when you got started?
So my first motorsport started when I was 5. I started in motorbikes of all things. I did my first race when I was 5. Wasn't the greatest race, but I think Mum and Dad thought that 2 wheels was too dangerous, so they bought me a go-kart to try out, and I did that on and off from 7. I was racing BMXs as well with that. So when I got to 9, I went the go-kart path and pursued the motorsport that way.
Nice. And how long did you spend in karting?
9 to 13.
Okay.
Yeah. So I moved on to cars when I was 13 and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what was your first karting events?
My first karting events were up in
car events.
It was in a BMW E46 around Lakeside in the QR Sports and Sedans, and it was a race to not get lapped. Yeah.
Wow.
I did the Lakeside 300 as well in my first year. And then I moved on to XLs the year after that. And I've been doing that for the past 3 years.
So how many XLs do you own, or have you owned?
The XL I am building at the moment is chassis number 8. So I give all my cars chassis numbers that I build. And this one's HER, so Holly Espray Racing 008.
Very good.
Yeah.
And you come up with names for all of your cars, or you name them all. So how do you come up with a name, or how do you determine their name?
Sometimes it's kind of like, oh, it's an orange car, I'll call it this. But most of the cars are based off of superheroes or Marvel characters. So, and it's kind of just nice to give them a name, even if it's like, I know, Rochelle or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. As I said earlier, I name my cars, and a few of us here, we name our cars too.
I see everyone nodding.
Yeah, like about them, that they're people.
Yeah. Well, the XL I'm building at the moment is called Nebula, and the Toyota 86 is called Gamora, and they're actually sisters in a Marvel movie.
Yeah. Okay. So you're obviously a Marvel fan.
Well, sort of, yes. Yes. That's a good series, that Marvel series, so yes.
Very good. And so last year you had an amazing year. You kicked so many goals.
Yes.
From winning you won the XL championship, which was fantastic. Tell us a little bit about that championship.
So that championship was only 3 rounds because of COVID. The first round was in February, and I did that in a green XL called Hulk. Then skipped to later in that year because of COVID. I did it in my blue XL, which was called Raven. And then Raven got damaged at Townsville. So I borrowed 888's XL. 888 Race Engineering's XL.
Nice.
And funny enough, she's actually called her XL a name as well, so.
Yeah. It's catching on.
Yeah.
Nice. And Townsville, that was another goal that you kicked last year, competing in your first street race or street track on your first street track, wasn't it?
Yes, that was at Townsville. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like?
It was like a go-kart track, really, just with walls. um, you drove round the track to get into the track. It was a bit scary at the start. I hit the wall in qualifying. Wasn't my fault, unfortunately. Well, it was my fault. I got onto the rubber on the outside, but after that, I went well. So
Nice. Did you forget the walls were there after a while, or there was a continual reminder that they were there?
Well, with the amount of cars that were hitting the walls, it was kind of a continual reminder. But yeah, with some laps you drive so they wouldn't be there, you know.
Sorry, I had to just confiscate the dog's squeaky toy because, of course, right in the middle of this, she decides to go on a squeaky toy bender. And then another like kind of goal that you kicked, like at the end of last year, you drove a TCR car.
Yes, I did.
How was that?
So I drove a TCR car 18 months ago before the test I did recently. It was a Volkswagen Golf around Queensland Raceway. It had just rained, but when I jumped in the car, it was a greasy track with the sun out. And I managed to be super close to David Russell's times. And I was pretty pleased about that. I got the opportunity to test the I-30N around Wakefield Park.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn the track that morning.
Right, yeah, it was your first time.
Yeah. So I got lent an I-30N as well to drive the track to learn it. And then I jumped in the TCR car, and it was pretty cool. So
yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing. Like, you can take all the things from driving an XL into a TCR car, and it's exactly the same.
Yeah. Oh, great. And then, well, before that, it was, and then you've driven a few cars last year. Then you drove the 86 at Bathurst.
Yes.
That's amazing. How was that?
Good. It was not planned.
Okay.
2 weeks before, I found a 86 to lease, and Paul Morris from Norwell said, "You got to get onto that. You've got to go do that." So my local sponsors that had helped me in Excels said, "Why not? Let's see if you can, like, see how you go." And I got there. It was a bit crazy because 2 weeks had gone, and I was at Bathurst with the car coming out of the transporter. Yeah, there was, the first lap was a bit like, oh, where does the track go? This is a bit scary. But after racing at Lakeside for so long, and Townsville, it actually helped me around that track.
And how did you prepare? Did you do like some sim training, or did you just thought, no, I'm just going to dive in the deep end?
Well, I drove that car 3 laps around Norwell and a few practice starts, and that's all I'd driven the car before Bathurst. So no sim. I don't have a sim, so it's a bit of a kind of jump straight into it and see how you go.
Oh, that's great. And then, so you've got the first round this year at Bathurst. So kind of picking up where you left off, which is exciting.
Yeah, well, the first time I went round Lakeside, Bathurst, I was 11 seconds off the pace. And I worked it down 7, 5, and then I got to 1.5 seconds off by the end of it. So I was pretty happy about that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's, yeah. And then you mentioned Paul Morris, so you also got taken on last year as an Norwell sponsored driver.
Yes.
So tell us more about that.
So where do I start? I went to Norwell to do some driver training down there.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul, funny enough, jumped in the car with me and to see how I went. And he came back in and he looked at Mum and Dad like, wow, it's pretty impressive. And he said, you don't have to worry about it. You're becoming a Norwell sponsored driver. So I'm down there most Fridays and Saturdays doing driving instructing now.
Mm-hmm.
in the supercar experience cars. and yeah, being around that crew is really good. So
Yeah, that's fantastic.
we all motivate each other, which is good.
Yeah. Oh wow. And they've got like the turntable at the track, don't they?
Yes.
Tell us how that works.
I went on that for the first time the other week. It was a bit scary. I went over in it in a little Mazda 2.
Okay.
So it was a bit scary. And then they obviously wet the surface after it, so kind of flicks you, and then you got to catch the slide it makes. So
nice. Yeah. Sounds like a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And what's the track like to drive on there?
It's a good enough track for what you need it to be.
Okay.
So it's got slow speed stuff and high speed stuff, all the stuff you need to be like, it's kind of got elements of every track on it, if that makes sense. So
yep. Yeah,
it's kind of a really good instructing track.
Oh, very good. And school's done. You finished school last year too.
Yes, finally.
Best feeling ever.
Yes.
So what's the plans now?
I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, to be honest. Building race cars, racing them, finding sponsorship to race them. I work 2 jobs to pay for my racing as well. So just in the mix of all that. I'm going to try and also do a mechanical apprenticeship this year. Just so I've got the qualifications and stuff as well.
Yes, because a lot of people might not know that you actually, work on all your own cars. You're not just driving them, you're actually working on them as well.
Yeah. Well, I attended a trade school in 2 years ago to do a mechanical course. So I've got the first bit. I just need to do the apprenticeship now.
Yeah. I'll get the paper, kind of what you already do.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, very good. What was it? I just thought of another question to ask you. Oh, yeah. Are you racing in the XLs this year as well as 86 series?
I'm gonna do 86s for 5 rounds, and then if that doesn't use up the budget, I will try and do some XLs as well.
Okay.
And possibly try to do a TCR round at Morgan Park later in the year.
Ooh.
But it's just all budget at the moment, so.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We all need to win the lottery.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I went for like 32 million the other day. I was like, oh my God, I need that.
All right, we've just got a question come through. So what is it? How do you maintain your hands with doing the mechanical stuff? Like with grease cleaner, is it so harsh on the hands? So what do you use to clean your hands?
I just use regular soap, to be honest, and a scrubbing brush. Actually, at the moment, they're covered in black spray paint because I've been painting all yesterday and today. But I don't really care, to be honest.
Yeah.
It comes off enough.
Yeah. All right, we've got some other questions here. So do you feel added pressure to know more and drive harder than the guys on the circuit because you're a young woman?
Not at all. I don't feel any added pressure from them. If anything, I put a little bit of pressure on myself to do well, to do as best as I can. All the guys on the track are just other people that I want to beat. So you just think of it like, oh, that's another car. I want to get past it.
Yeah. Yep. Just another driver.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, another car. Yeah. And who's your support network that motivates you and helps you?
So my family is my biggest support network. Mum doesn't really like coming to the track, but dad as well. They watched me on TV when I went to Bathurst, so that was good. But the Norwell crew, they're big supporters as well. As I said before, we all motivate each other, so it's good to be around.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if you need any pit crew, that you could do a post in the Race Chicks group, and I'm sure there'll be lots of people that would jump on that to come.
Yeah, of course.
Give you a hand.
Yeah,
and be part of your team if you need any help.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm pretty sure I know who this one came from. What are you currently doing for your training or race fitness?
Oh, I do gymnastics every week. Sounds like a very silly thing to do, but flexibility is a really good thing for being a race car driver, getting in and out of those small spots. I'm also very active as it is, so just running around. My brother actually started learning how to ride a bike the other week, and I had to run around the block with him.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, no, it wasn't fun, but it was okay. There's a staircase of concrete stairs near where I live that I run up and down sometimes as well. So good fitness.
Yeah. Well, gymnastics. Yeah. Well, that's not for the faint-hearted. And do you have a favorite racetrack?
Oh, it's got to be between Morgan Park, Lakeside, and Bathurst.
Okay.
I'm not sure. There's such good tracks. It's Lakeside is quick and dangerous, Bathurst is quick and dangerous, and Morgan Park's just really quick. So, yeah.
Very good. Well, I think that's pretty much all the questions that have come through so far. I think Linda's got one that come through. I said the Friday. Oh, you can ask that one for Holly. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Has anyone got a question for Holly? Kaz, did you have one about her training?
I was like, oh, okay, someone's on right there. So are you looking at like to move forward at sort of anything in the way of structured training, anything specific that you personally are trying to work on?
I don't know. I think just being the active person that I am is like what I need at the moment. But you obviously need strong mind, strong body, and all that to be a race car driver.
That's all right. Very much so. Yeah. And what about your nutrition? Do you do anything specific with that, or?
I try to eat as healthy as I can. Yeah. I've taken chocolate right out of my diet, so I guess that's one thing.
So you don't have anything structured for race day that you work with?
Not really, no.
Holly, do you have twisties and lollies in your bag on race day?
No, I don't actually.
No more KFC, which you used to have.
No. That was a one-time occasion.
That was a one-off.
Yeah.
Awesome. All good, Dad.
Okay, message from Jess. Holly, what's your goals that you're trying to reach in motorsport? Is going overseas on the cards? Good question.
Yes, it is.
Really something you want to do.
TCR, the new series, has a series overseas. So there's TCR UK, TCR Asia. And then so that's kind of where I want to end up overseas in that series.
Okay. Would you drive an open wheeler?
I have driven an open wheeler, and I would probably want to do it again. Yes. It's like a big go-kart, so it's really, really good to drive.
Yeah.
How about the British Touring Car Championship?
Oh, that would be awesome if I could get to that. Yeah. But though, yeah, it would be like a TCR is.
It's more crash, boom, bash, crash.
Yeah. Oh, it's like Excels again.
Yeah, pretty much. You're used to it then.
Yeah.
Was there a bit more biff and barge in the XLs than there is in the 86s, or is it about the same?
I don't know, actually. I think there's more in the XLs because there's more younger drivers in the XLs. I reckon. The 86s, everyone's kind of really good because of how expensive it is to fix them. But it still was really competitive, the 86s.
Yeah.
I also know that the race director for 86s is quite strict on touching, so that's why the category is a bit cleaner, because it depends on the race director and how they manage the category. And yeah, I know Matty Balcombe quite well, and he's not one for touching up and people making contact and deliberately taking people out or putting them into.
I don't think the race director was there at Bathurst because he couldn't get up because of COVID.
Yeah, he's from Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he's there.
He'll be busting to be there. Don't worry. If there's a chance, if there's any glimmering chance to be there, I think all of us are busting to get to the track in any capacity because we've just been away from it for so long.
Oh, I know. Oh, it's kind of good doing this driver training down at Norwell because you're there every weekend, so you're getting track time every weekend.
Well, seat time's the best thing for you.
Time, exactly.
Yeah, you're constantly in the seat. You're just trimming those things up and you're just getting a little bit more better and you're more comfortable, and then you can just jump in and out of anything and just drive it.
Exactly. And they've got 86s down there. That's what you train in.
Yeah, perfect.
So it's easy.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's excuse me, that's fantastic. A question from Renee. Is it typical to move from XLs to 86s?
There's a few people that have done it.
On the commute home.
But not so much in the Queensland series. More New South Wales guys that have done it.
Okay.
It is a big money gap between XLs and 86s.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's a few this year that are moving up to the 86s that I know.
You're out and about. That's all right.
So we'll see how many come up.
That's when you just go, okay, call me when.
And how many rounds do you aim for each year? Do you have an aim each year of how many you like to complete? Obviously, forget last year.
As in the Toyotas?
Yeah. This was just a question from Renee. Like, is there a set number of rounds you try and do each year?
There's 5 rounds this year for the Toyota 86s. I'd like to do all of them. Obviously budget as well allows. The XLs I think have 7 rounds. I don't know if I'll make them all.
I will, but just take care of yourself.
And yeah, hopefully do that 1 round in the TCR later in the year as well.
Okay, I love you.
Okay. I can just hear somebody having a chat. Just trying to see. All right. Okay, we've got another question come through. There aren't many women drivers in these categories who've been able to connect with other women to support each other developing your racing careers.
There isn't actually. The XLs, I was the only girl last year. The year before as well, I was the only girl. 86s, there's meant to be 2 other girls. Not sure what their commitments are. But that Bathurst round I did last year, I was the only girl in it. Yeah.
I was watching at TCR last weekend and I didn't see one girl.
No. There's no one in there.
Or like the other categories either. That yeah, I think even in the XLs down there weren't any. Well, not that
I think there's a few in New South Wales, but the Victorian and things, I don't think there's any girls in it. Which is a shame because the XL's a really good starting category.
Definitely, they're getting so popular.
Yeah.
So popular.
Yeah, and it's a cheap way to go from go-karts into cars.
Yeah. So would you recommend the Excels as a series to start door-to-door racing in?
Definitely, because they're all the same. They're all very similar. So it's just they're really good to learn racecraft in.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good to learn how to race closely without touching sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work, but yes.
Yeah.
And Holly, they're a controlled category, aren't they? So it keeps the cost down. Like you can't just go changing every little bit that you want to and turn it into a monster. You're only allowed to do certain things, aren't you?
Yeah, so like a couple of things, like the tires are the same, the brake pads, they've got 2 types. You can only do a certain amount of things to the engines. You have to all be exactly the same weight, or a maximum weight you have to be under. Yeah, so, and they're like 1.5 liters, so you can't really do a lot to them anyway.
I'm sure people try.
Yes. Well, you've seen the turbocharged XLs on YouTube and stuff, so.
Having saying that, I happened to have the category of the XLs, and there was a couple that actually modified, and we busted them.
Oh, really?
Yes. So they try, but they're not going to get away with it. And it was their crankshaft.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah. So they try, but that we found out, and yeah. I don't know if you were there. Was it last year? It wasn't last year, the year before. We got some of the cars to take off their head, and we had to look at them and stuff because of what's been happening.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cheaters out there.
There are. Yes.
And I won't say who, I can't say who they are, but there was a few of them, and a few of them got impounded as well. We impounded the cars. So
Wow.
they will not get away with it.
No, well, I think it's good before you race. You've got to strip down your engine and get the scrutineer to check it whilst you put it back together, and then they seal it together. So if you've got any seals that have been broken or tampered with, then they know that it's been changed.
But not underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they think, they can get away with it, but no.
Yeah, no.
You got to try, Deb. You got to try these things.
You gotta
You got to have the edge. You got to try things, and then if you get caught, you go, okay, I can't do that anymore.
That's it, because it's only wrong if you get caught.
Oh no.
Exactly. Some of them got in serious, especially one got in serious trouble, and I think he wasn't allowed to race for another 12 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's a lot that I can't say, but yeah. And there was a couple that we were told that there was a few problems with, and they got the shock of their life when we told them to put the bonnet up so we could have a look, and found a few things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it happens in Toyota 86s as well.
Do they?
Yeah, well, Toyota 6s are better than the XLs, I reckon, with the way that they scrutinize everything.
Yeah, it's owned by Bates, so he's very professional.
Yeah. It's also all done with Motec system, so you got to download all your data onto a USB and give it to the main guy there.
Yep.
So they can see if your car's quicker in one section, then they'll be like, what's going on?
Yep.
And do you spend a lot of time, Holly, analysing your data?
This is the first car I've ever had with data, so I'm still learning. The only time I've looked at it was at Bathurst, on Paul Morris's son's laptop, so he was showing me how to do it. I need to go and do that. I need to go and learn how to do it properly.
Yeah. All a learning curve.
Yeah.
So this is putting on the spot a little bit, but what would be like the cost? Would you know what the cost would be for an XL series, like for the year, like to compete in? So if you had to say give somebody a ballpark, that was interested in joining the XL series, what they're kind of looking at for the year?
Yeah. if you were going to buy a race car, it would probably be between 6 to 15 grand, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'll go 20, 6 to 20 grand for a car. If you're going to build one, probably 15, maybe.
Yeah.
Then you've got tires, pads, fuel. That's probably about 2 grand, maybe. So it's to run the car for the weekend, about 2 grand. So it's not that expensive. Obviously with entry fee on top of that as well.
And if you've got to travel and things like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm. And then if there's repairs.
Yes. Well, then you've got to buy road car XLs and strip them down. So we have like 6 at the house.
Okay.
One of them's my road car.
Yeah.
It was actually donated to me, so I've got a free road car.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What tyres are you running on the XLs?
They're Dunlop Direzzas.
Okay.
They're just I think they're just a really nice road tire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what the 86s run on them as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're not that expensive.
Yeah. And is it a set around that you're finding?
Yes, we've got to buy them at the track for the 86s. You've got to have one for qualifying. You've got to have a set for qualifying every round. The XLs, you can buy a set and use that set the whole year, or you can buy a set for each race meeting. It doesn't really matter in the XLs.
Okay, but so a new set every round for the 86s.
Yes, so that's $1.5 grand right there.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, so everyone's starting on new rubber.
Yes. Yep. You give your tires to your tires to them. Your wheels, sorry, to them before qualifying, the day before qualifying, and then in the morning you go pick them up. They got all the markings on it, ready to go.
Yeah.
And then they come around and check those tires to make sure you haven't cheated. And
yeah. Okay. And then the old tires, what are you using them for practice and?
Yeah, using them for practice. Paul Morris likes them, so we give them to him sometimes as well. Yeah, so basically practice, because you want to keep on the same rubber, otherwise it's not that much of a difference, but it is a difference.
Yep, definitely. So what's been your favorite car to drive on or off the track?
My favorite car to drive on the track was probably the TCR cars. They were a lot of fun and very easy to handle after driving the XLs. This year is going to be the 86. I can just tell. Yes.
Yeah. Nice. And was there much difference between the TCR Golf and the i30N?
No, not a lot actually. They're all exactly the same, like the 86s. They have to be.
Okay.
For the category, yeah. It was hard to tell if they were on the same track, maybe. But because they were different tracks, different conditions. Yeah.
Yeah. And are you hoping to drive a particular car in a TCR round this year? Like
I really want to get in the i30.
Okay.
With Hyundai, because Hyundai are a big fan of me as well. I just did a drive day for them actually. So I jumped in the Tiger Tasmania i30 and I took people for hot laps all day.
Nice.
Yeah. Around Queensland Raceway. So that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Luckily the car had aircon, otherwise I'd be out and in it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Linda's just asked about your glasses. Do you have an Opton script helmet?
No, I don't.
Do you wear your glasses at the track or contact?
Yes, I do have contacts, but I prefer not to wear them because when you get dirt in your eye, it doesn't come out.
Yeah.
Glasses kind of has that extra shield. Yes, they fog up when it's raining. And yes, they pick up all the reflections at night, but you kind of get used to it when you've been wearing them for that long.
Yeah. Yeah. Linda, do you wear your glasses at the track? When Linda's rallying, the dirt rallying, so she definitely know about the dirt.
Yeah, I can't wear contacts, as Holly pointed out, the dust. But on top of that, don't forget we have the balaclava and then the helmet, and we've got open helmets. And I also wear hearing aids, so the balaclava holds the hearing aids, the glasses, and everything in place when I put my helmet on. So it's just, but I did know that you can actually get windscreens in your glass script. So it was just one of those, it's the cost of race cars. If you've got a windscreen, you can actually get it changed into your glass script. It just blows me away what they can do nowadays.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try. You can see, like you get those motorbike helmets that have, you've got the clear visor over the top, but then underneath you've got the little one that pops down that's tinted. I wonder if you could make that a prescripted lens and then have the screen over the top.
There is a glass company, meaning optical glasses, that make glasses for driving. And I was curious. I was actually going to buy some for rallying. It's got the thinner frames for the helmet. The thicker the frames, the more catch on my helmet. And then, yes, they're tinted. And I nearly bought a couple of pairs just for rallying. We're not rallying this. Come on, you've got to spend money on the car, not the glasses.
Well, my glasses get covered in spray paint and grease and everything.
So what is it, Holly, that you love about motorsport?
The adrenaline. The adrenaline that you get is so much fun. Like you get out the car and you're there shaking, but it's the adrenaline that keeps me going in it.
Yeah.
The door-to-door racing as well, that's just exciting.
So do you have do you do other like adrenaline kind of activities? Are you someone that would jump out of a plane or anything like that?
Actually, for my birthday, Mum got me a skydiving thing that I haven't done yet. I need to go and do that, but
okay.
I reckon I'd love that.
Yeah.
Gymnastics is a thrill in its own as well. It's amazing, like you flipping off that bar and it's so scary. Even though it's into a foam pit. But
okay. I'm trying to decide if us drivers, are we more kind of like the adrenaline junkie side, or are we more competitive? Wondering what our makeups are.
Oh. You probably want to say adrenaline junkie, wouldn't you?
Well, I know for sure that I definitely would not be jumping out of a plane. Oh, this is a good one. Do you have an idol in the sport? Someone you look up to?
There is a race car driver that I do look up to. I don't remember his name at this certain point. I'm not very good with names, but he wasn't really known, but he won a lot of races. He raced in open wheelers against I think Niki Lauda and Ayrton Senna and all of those people there. I'll have to find his name and tell you, but
Vilna?
What was that?
Was it Gilles Vilna?
No.
Not Gilles?
I hate it when you can't remember names. I do.
Oh my god,
You could tell me the car he drove, I'd probably be able to tell you. Don't remember what team.
No.
No.
It was kind of someone where you're like, that's a really good person to look up to, and then you just completely forget what they are, who they drive for.
You'll remember it tonight after we log off.
Yes, I will, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So if you had a message to women or girls that were thinking about getting into motorsport, what would your message be to them?
The Cars 3 movie. I don't
Okay.
know if anyone's seen that. There's a girl that's in that called Cruz.
Yep.
And she said that she turned up to her first race meeting and had all the people looking at her and couldn't do it. My advice to a girl would be just go and do it. Don't worry about what people are saying about you. Don't worry about people looking at you. It's you that needs to go and do it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I haven't seen Cars 3. I'm going to go watch that now. Has anyone else got any questions for Holly? This has been great. We'll definitely be watching you throughout the year and cheering you on, and we'll follow you in the group, definitely. So feel free to post in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need any pit crew, shout out. I'm sure there'll be. Yeah,
of course I will.
I'd love to give you a hand.
I'd love people to come to the track. Yeah, well, girls supporting girls, I guess.
That's it. We've got to stick together.
Yeah.
Especially when at the track there's, especially with drivers, they're very few and far between, unfortunately. Yes. Yeah. So it's fantastic. Well, no other questions? No. Well, we wish you all the best of luck this year.
Thank you.
It's great that we've been able to get you before the craziness of the year starts.
Yeah. Well, it's starting this month, so I've got to go and my 86 engine isn't even in the car yet, so I've got to go and do that.
Okay.
I got to get it on Friday actually. So
actually, I've sort of a question. How do you prepare mentally for an upcoming race?
Oh God,
do you have
that's a hard question.
Just think about it constantly.
I think about it when I'm coming to the track, like when I go to the track. But I kind of think of it as soon as I put my glasses in, like that concentration I need to put my glasses into my helmet, that kind of takes it away from what I'm thinking about. And then as soon as I'm on the track, I'm thinking about racing again. And like, that's kind of like the headspace I need to go and do what I do best, you know?
Yeah. Do you find you have an alter ego when you're out on the track? Like, do you, does a different kind of personality come out when you're out there, or it's like just all you all the time?
No, definitely. I have another personality. It's actually funny, like the guys at Norwell, they say you've just got a completely different personality when you're in the car. You need to bring that personality out when you talk in front of the camera. Because I'm really shy in front of cameras, so I'm getting better, but still. Yeah.
That's a lot more daunting than, driving at 200 odd kilometers an hour.
Of course it is, yeah. When I did the Bathurst round last year, they said, "Oh, Holly, do you want us to come sit next to me and we'll have a chat in front of your car?" And I'm like, "Okay." Gave me a microphone and we were sat on the chairs and they had this huge camera in front of me. But as soon as you get into it, like with this, as soon as you get into it, you kind of just, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
That's okay. Thanks for inviting me.
We have our next live Q&A in 3 weeks' time, which is with Belinda Risley, which is on building your brand through social media, which is good for everyone that's trying to get sponsors.
Yeah.
It's that dreaded task of getting sponsors. So, invite everyone to join us on that one in a few weeks' time. And then we have another one with Kaz, who's with us tonight, on building your strength and endurance for motorsport as well. I think that one's in April, I think. Here we are, I've got it up here. Yes, that's on the 8th of April, that one. So we've got a couple of good ones coming up. So feel free to join us on those. And if you miss us, it'll be recorded, which I'll pop on the YouTube channel. So thanks everyone again for joining us, and we will see you all next time.
Thank you.
Holly.
Thanks, Holly. Been great. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you.